welcome to another brief session with Ruth Sanderson from Blue Pea Pod. And the question I've got for Ruth today is, I'd like, as a leader in my organisation, Ruth, to be giving people more responsibility. And I know there's lots of talk about delegation and empowerment and stuff, in many organisations, not just ours. Can you maybe share a few tips for us on how we can effectively, give people more responsibility?
Okay, so there's one thing really around you give responsibility, and I think as a leader the first thing you need to get clear on is responsibility and accountability. So before you do any delegation, before you do any empowerment, you get clear on responsibility and accountability, because they're a bit different.
Well, could you expand a little bit on those differences then? Because I know we probably interchange those words.
Yes, it's very, very common. So responsibility is when somebody turns around and says, I have given you this particular task and you are responsible for delivering the task in a way.
Yeah.
So we either tend to go, I've done the task or I haven't done the task. That's it. But accountability is this sense of ownership for an outcome. That's beyond the task.
Right.
So it's almost like the bigger picture. So I'll do whatever it takes to get the outcome. Starting here, I can think it can involve A, B and C.
Yeah.
But as I'm doing it, I may then also see that it involves this and this. But because I'm accountable for the outcome, the result, and I have that sense of ownership, I will do whatever it takes. Now, when I say do whatever it takes, I don't mean that I have to be the one that does it. Sometimes I'm the one that says, right, okay, I need to have a conversation with that person. Or what. So I do whatever it takes to make sure it happens,
Yeah.
but all the time I have kept ownership of the outcome. And when people are just doing responsibility, and as you delegate down, you want them to have that sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
But things can fall through the cracks. Because it's like, well, I'm just doing A, B and C.
So it's almost like the responsibility part is very sort of task focused is what I'm picking up, whereas the accountability is, accountable for something much bigger, for the fruition.
Yes, the outcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel a sense of ownership.
Right.
So I can feel a sense of ownership for a brand. I can feel a sense of ownership for my business.
Yeah.
I can feel a sense of ownership for a project. I can feel a sense of ownership for me. So I am accountable for all my actions.
Right.
Yeah, and it moves it on a level from responsibility.
Right.
And when you're working in a team and you've got several people doing things,
Yeah.
one person always has to be accountable.
Yeah.
Everybody else can be responsible for things, but one person always has to be accountable, because then they won't let things fall through the cracks. But if nobody feels accountable,
Yeah.
everybody's doing responsible, you see that fabulously in silo management. Because that's when things, it's like, well, that's the job of that department, that's the job of that department.
That's not my job, is the language that's often heard, isn't it?
Yes.
That's great. Well, that's lovely. That's probably the most I've understood about the difference between those two things. So thank you. That's great.